We crave for new sensations, but soon become indifferent to them. Nikola Tesla, Serbian-American inventor. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. It is the most important product of his creative brain. Originality thrives in seclusion, free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone, that is the secret of invention. Be alone, that is when ideas are born. Money does not represent such a value as men have placed upon it. All my money has been invested into experiments, with which I have made new discoveries, enabling mankind to have a little easier life. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The scientific man does not aim at an immediate result. He does not expect that his advanced ideas will be readily taken up. His work is like that of the planter, for the future. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain, which in fact it is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. The female mind has demonstrated a capacity for all the mental acquirements and achievements of man, and as generations ensue, that capacity will be expanded. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. Women will ignore precedent and startle civilization with their progress. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfold into success. The present is theirs. The future, for which I really worked, is mine. An inventor's endeavor is essentially life-saving. Whether he harnesses forces, improves devices, or provides new comforts and conveniences, he's adding to the safety of our existence. The idea of atomic energy is illusionary, but it has taken so powerful a hold on the minds that although I have preached against it for 25 years, there are still some who believe it to be realizable. Instinct transcends knowledge. We have undoubtedly certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths, when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable like force and matter. When they separate, man is no more. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. Most persons are so absorbed in the contemplation of the outside world that they are wholly oblivious to what is passing on within themselves. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. I am part of a light, and it is the music. The light fills my six senses. I see it, hear, feel, smell, touch, and think. The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude. No big laboratory is needed in which to think. It's not the love you make, it's the love you give. Every living being is an engine geared to the wheelwork of the universe. Though seemingly affected only by its immediate surrounding, the sphere of external influence extends to infinite distance. My method is different. I do not rush into actual work. When I get an idea, I start at once building it up in my imagination. I change the construction, make improvements, and operate the device entirely in my mind. Most certainly some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. When natural inclination develops into a passionate desire, one advances towards his goal in 7-league boots. My project was retarded by laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time, but the same laws will prevail in the end and make it a triumphal success. Focusing your motive power towards the direction of the collective human movement means you use others' energy to boost your energy. It is not as much quantity as quality of work which determines the magnitude of the progress. There is something within me that might be illusion, as it is often case with young delighted people, But if I would be fortunate to achieve some of my ideals, it would be on the behalf of the whole of humanity. We are all one, only egos, beliefs, and fears separate us. Deficient observation is merely a form of ignorance, and responsible for the many morbid notions and foolish ideas prevailing. Gain more, waste less, spend efficiently, learn. Genius is its own passport and has always been ready to change habitats until the natural one is found. A new world must be born, a world that would justify the sacrifices offered by humanity. One's salvation could only be brought about through his own efforts. To know each other, we must reach beyond the sphere of our sense perceptions. The hard work of the future will be pushing buttons. To gain your energy from the right sources means you gain more energy from less. My belief is firm in the law of compensation. The true rewards are ever in proportion to the labor and sacrifices made. Though free to think and act, we are held together like the stars in the firmament with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them.